Okay, we're talking about the practice range and just why well, first of all, we'll start with why aim trainers maybe aren't the best thing in the world, especially to like improve your aim in Valorant. And the reason for that is that they created a simulated environment to practice these tasks, right? So, for example, the tracking, right? How it has it has the ball moving across the screen, and you shoot at the ball, and that's pretty much it, right? It's not like you're using a Valorant gun or like anything like that. You're strictly doing the mouse movements required to hit that target. But in Valorant, there's a lot of factors that play into your aim, right? So, for example, your movement. So if I'm moving, my bullets are going all over the place. So it doesn't matter if I can follow the target. If the target's moving around and I'm moving around too, I'm not going to hit this, right? Okay, maybe it probably shouldn't have died. But you guys are getting to the point where it's like, this isn't precise or accurate, right? This doesn't help me even if I'm tracking it well. It's going to make the game very difficult. So this is why practicing in the game is what a lot of players say is normally better. And this is how I personally practice. I'm not going to dissuade anybody from the aim trainers. There's definitely is benefit to them, especially for newer players. But this is how I'm going to improve my mechanics most of the time in my warm-ups, right? So a lot of the times what I'll do is you can open up the range and you can have all the bots and stuff like that. And you can go, and this will practice maybe like your flicks, give you a little bit of mouse control. This would be like a good warm-up if you're just trying to warm up your aim. And maybe like haven't played much today and you're like, okay, let's just go into the range, let's click some heads and just like get ready for my game, right? Maybe you'll incorporate some movement, so it's like you're trying to move between your shots and stuff, and you're trying to track the bots, and you can do something like that. Or what a lot of people will do is like maybe they'll turn on strafing. I can't do that because my keyboard doesn't have F keys, but like you can press F2 and you can make like the bots move around and stuff like that. So that can be a good way to work it out. But say, for example, you wanted to incorporate tracking into the range, right? I wanted to practice my tracking on a bot. Turning on the strafe, like I said, is a great way to do that. But you can also just like walking around the bot. And this is more of like a boring exercise for a lot of people. But it's like just keeping your head on the bot and moving around yourself. This will help your tracking like quite a bit. Where it's just like you're just trying to keep your crosshair on the target, moving around. Maybe you wanted to like switch between the targets and like kind of flick between them. And maybe as you're like walking by, you like grab onto somebody else's head, and you're just trying to keep it on their head and practice your tracking. And I'm noticing right now my tracking is not very good. I'm a little out of practice for this, and maybe this is an exercise that I want to do frequently as I'm trying to get my aim back up there, right? As I'm trying to get more into the game, maybe I wanted to rank up more. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to work on our tracking quite a bit, right? And you can do stuff like this. What I've seen people do, and we'll talk about it in the next video, is like go into deathmatch and they'll track targets. But another way that you can kind of work on your tracking is I've heard professional players, like Caboose was one of them in the early Valorant days. What he said, like his exercise was like he would pick any point in like the air or something like that. He'd track it, and then he'd like flick to a target's head, right? Strafe, and then you flick to it. Maybe you aim down here, and you're like, want to flick up. I'm missing these flicks, but right, and you're just kind of like trying to track on the ground, tracking a little low at this point, but like you guys are getting to the point where it's like you just pick a point, you track it, and then you go for the flick. And you can do this for a while. Other ways that you could practice your flicks, say for example, I like doing this warm-up routine where I'll do the spawn 100 bots, and I'll come and stand over here, and they'll just spawn in front of me. If I'm standing over here, if you stand over here, they spawn at like wild angles, and like we talked about earlier with crosshair placement, you're gonna be aiming in front of you most of the time. So it's not really like massive points, and just having to make yourself flick all over the place. But sometimes I'll strafe around like over here, and I'll just practice like my flicks between the bots, right? So when they spawn, I'll go for flicks towards them. So you can practice your wide flicks with this. You can also practice your micro corrections. So normally, like, my flicks aren't always perfect, obviously, like just most people's aren't. So what you'll normally do is you'll flick to the target, and then you'll go for the micro correction onto their head, right? So say, for example, I flick to this target. I'm obviously not on his head, so I try to micro adjust. And you can do this. And what I recommend in the range is just taking your time on your shots, right? You don't need to be rushing it. Just making sure that you're going for the headshot, maybe moving around a little bit, and just trying to keep your movement in the ropes. Can be a good way to do this. And this is how you'll generally practice your flicks. You can also do the spawn, the other version of this, where it spawns 30 bots, and you just try to flick between them. So for this one, I'll take my time. I have to hold this button for like 5 seconds to turn on my F keys. It's really annoying. It's some like knockoff, like TKL keyboard for people who are wondering. I don't know. It's really obnoxious. But anyway, so I'm going to start this on, and a lot of people have talked about like if it's a good idea or a bad idea to do the speed. Generally, what I recommend is doing it on easy or medium to start out, and it's just taking your time on your shots, right? So we hit the start, and the bot spawns, and I hit that shot, right? And the next bot spawns, and I hit that shot. And then the next bot spawns and I hit the headshot. When you go on to fast, what's going to happen with a lot of people is they're just going to end up missing a lot, and it's not going to help them at all. You don't want to train yourself to miss. This is a big problem that a lot of people have. This is why you don't want to practice improperly, because if you the whole point of this is to like condition your brain and your muscle memory to be like, okay, this is good. You get rewarded with the dopamine of hitting that headshot and you're like, cool. But if you start doing it where it's like, oh, well, I missed 3 bullets, but I hit one of them, you start like conditioning your brain to be like, okay, it's fine if I miss 3 shots as long as I hit the third one, right? And you don't want to do that. You want to condition your brain to think, okay, I want to hit every shot. Like I want my shots to be accurate. So that way, when you go into the future games, you're not missing, right? That's the whole point. So yeah, generally when you're doing your warm-ups, you want to be doing them correctly, you want to be doing them efficiently, and you want to be aiming for the headshots right there. If for people who maybe don't wonder why you aim for the head, generally it just does more damage. Obviously in the game, we know that the body is like the easier target to hit, but since time to kill in this game is so low, it's very important that you're landing those headshots. Because if you're not, then the enemy will be, and you're going to be losing because of that. So we just did the easy bots. Let's go to medium, and you'll notice they spawn a little bit faster. I'm probably going to miss a few of these. Landed that shot. And we'll just go through this. Notice I missed that one. I might have to be a little bit faster, but I also don't want to go too fast for my comfort. And this is something that a lot of players will do incorrectly in game. And you'll notice how when it makes me do these wider flicks, that's when it takes me more time, because that's when I have to make more adjustments. Notice my adjustments are wrong right here. And I'm missing a lot, partly because I'm talking right now, but also partly because I'm not the best aimer in the world. And we're just going through this, and we're landing those headshots. And these micro adjustments, again, a lot easier. This is why crosshair placement is so important, by the way. You're seeing it firsthand right here. When it's closer to where my aiming, it's so much easier for me to land it than when they spawn out of the sort of range. I've heard professional Counter-Strike players talk about this before. Each player has like a range in which they're comfortable flicking to. So for a player like myself, this is my range pretty much. Like, you can go a little bit wider than this, but once you go wider than this, it's going to be a lot harder for me to hit it. So what would this be, like 60, 70 degrees or something like that? But then some players might have an even wider range, you know? Where like maybe Tens is more comfortable flicking from like right here to like right here. Like maybe this is his range where he can comfortably flick. I'm willing to bet that might be even a little bit wide. But yeah, you never know. Some players are like comfortable flicking even wider. It's just, it really depends on the player and like their comfort level. And over time, the more that you train, the wider your range will probably get. Maybe I'm training a lot more and my range goes from like this to maybe like this, you know? Over time, this is what aim training is going to help, and eventually you will be able to master your aiming, master your control, and you will feel like just an extension of your arm, basically, is what you're shooting for with your aim. So now that we're finished with this discussion, we are going to go over to the deathmatch side of things.